Yesterday, Sayadaw explained Saddha, faith and confidence. Sayadaw explained that when one is performing wholesomeness, that is blameless, pure and clean, every time one performs wholesomeness, Saddha, faith and confidence is involved. Saddha, faith and confidence plays the important role in the high-class wholesome deed. And also, yogi who is practicing bhavana should be endowed with Saddha, faith and confidence. Faith and confidence is the first factor among the 5 factors to be fulfilled by the person who practices. One should be endowed with Okapana Saddha, trusting faith. Based on the knowledge, one should have faith and confidence associating with knowledge, knowing what is good, what is not good, knowing what is beneficial, what is not beneficial, knowing what is suitable and what is unsuitable. Doing good deeds bring good results, doing bad deeds brings bad results. One should have faith and confidence that good deeds bring good results. Not everyone has the Okapana Saddha, trusting faith. Not all the Buddhists have Okapana Saddha, trusting faith, to a complete level. That's why it is necessary to awaken Saddha, faith and confidence by discussing, by learning, by asking in order to clarify on things that one is not clear of. The benefits of Satipatthana practice has been taught by the Buddha. Buddha gave guarantee that by practicing Satipatthana meditation, one will gain the 7 benefits of Satipatthana practice. Buddha taught very boldly in Sihanada, lion's roar, how one can gain the 7 benefits of Satipatthana practice. Knowing that Satipatthana practice is beneficial, one will have faith and confidence. Faith and confidence will be awakened by listening to the Dhamma, and one should cultivate the awakened Saddha by practicing. Practicing continuously, noting the presently arising object, being mindful of the 4 objects, Kaya, Vedana, Citta and Dhamma, being mindful of bodily actions, feelings and sensations, the mind as well as the mental objects. By being mindful of the 4 kinds of objects, noting them with aim and effort, with sustained mindfulness, one is cultivating the awakened Saddha. And Sayadaw will explain the 5 benefits of being endowed with Saddha, faith and confidence. There are methods to develop both the mind and the knowledge. And such methods to develop the mind and the knowledge are mentioned in the teachings of the Buddha. And also, People who have practiced Satipatthana meditation, they share what they have experienced. In the books, so one can learn from such kind of books, as well as listening to the talks. If one does not read such kind of books, not listening to the Dhamma talk, not having discussion, one will not have Ōkāpana Saddha. The person will be lacking Saddha. Without having Saddha, it is impossible to refrain from wrongful things. It is impossible to perform wholesome things. Not having faith and confidence, the person fails to refrain from wrongful things, and thus he or she is sure to gain the bad consequences. Not having Saddha, faith and confidence, the person fails to perform wholesome things, and thus the person will not gain benefit. In this way, the person will have a total loss in this life as well as in the life to be followed. The person who does not believe in the next life, who believes in wrongful things, is a total loss, as taught by the Buddha. If the person does not have Ōkāpana Saddha, the trusting faith associating with knowledge, the person will be losing. For the person who is endowed with Ōkāpana Saddha, faith and confidence, others who see the person who has Ōkāpana Saddha, the others will be willing to help the person so that the person can fill in the gaps to rectify the wrongdoings, rectify the shortcomings, so that the person will become more complete. The person who has Saddha, faith and confidence, will gain benefit. As the person has faith and confidence in things that are worthy of faith and confidence, the person will not be losing, but the person will profit. And Sayadaw will explain the Saddha Sutta from Anguttara Nikaya. Before Sayadaw explain how Saddha should be cultivated, Sayadaw will explain on Saddha Sutta. In the word Saddha Sutta, Saddha does not mean faith or confidence. It means the person who is endowed with faith and confidence. So here in the word Saddha Sutta, Saddha means the person who is endowed with faith and confidence associating with knowledge. The person who comes to confirmation, decision that it is correct, associating with knowledge, is called Saddha. By practicing Satipatthana meditation, when the person develops and cultivates knowledge, the person also cultivates Ōkāpana Saddha, the trusting faith. By cultivating knowledge stage by stage, when knowledge is improved, the Saddha, faith and confidence also improves, and the person comes to think that only now I know through practice In the past, I have not known. What I have known is just theoretical knowledge. Only now I come to know through the practice. So in this way, the person comes to have faith and confidence through his or her experience of practice by cultivating knowledge. As the person cultivates knowledge a little, the person comes to accept, confirm that the practice is correct. And as the person cultivates more and more knowledge, there will be more and more acceptance, confirmation, decision that it is correct. In this way, by cultivating knowledge stage by stage, the person's faith and confidence will become stronger and stronger. As the person gains Udayataya Jnana, knowledge into fast arising and passing away, the person will have Adhimokha, resolute faith. The person having attained Udayataya Jnana will have happiness in the Dhamma, and the person will have Adhimokha, the resolute faith. After attaining Udayataya Jnana, having a resolute faith, as the person continues the practice, Vipassana knowledge will become more and more mature, and one will realize the total cessation by attaining Ariya Magga Phala Jnana, path and fruition knowledge. Once the person attains the cessation by attaining path and fruition knowledge, the person's saddha, faith and confidence become firm and unshaken. The person who is endowed with saddha, faith and confidence, whether it is a lay person or a monk, will be endowed with the 5 benefits. Buddha said, Panchime Bhikkhave Satte Kula Bodhe Anisansa, meaning that the person who is endowed with saddha, faith and confidence will gain 5 benefits. Whether the person is a lay person, a man or a woman or a monk, whoever is endowed with saddha, faith and confidence will gain these 5 benefits. Kula Bodha is the good person. It can be a man or a woman or a monk. And Sayadaw explains there are 2 kinds of Kula Bodha. The first one is Jati Kula Bodha. The person who is said to be high in terms of one's high class or high in terms of high class or some kind of aristocrat by birth. The other one is to be good in terms of practice. When the person knows the correct method of practice, by practicing in order to be blameless, pure and clean, such kind of person is called Achara Kula Bodha, the person who is high and good in terms of moral conduct and practice. It is not important to be high in terms of one's class or status in life, but it is more important to be high and good in terms of moral conduct and practice. Even though one may not be born into the high-class society, but if the person practices Sila, Samadhi and Panya, morality, concentration and wisdom, if the person is endowed with the practice of Sila, Samadhi and Panya, the person is called Achara Kula Buddha, the person who is good and high in terms of practice. By practicing Satipatthana meditation, being endowed with Saddha, faith and confidence, this Achara Kula Buddha will be endowed with 5 benefits. And Buddha asked the question, Gatame Pancha, what are the 5? Buddha did not ask this question in order to get answer from the audience, but Buddha asked this question in order to answer Buddha's own question. In the world, there are people who practice Sila, Samadhi and Panya, morality, concentration and wisdom, and thus they are free from the agitation of Raga, Dosa, Moha. So these people who are calm, suppressing the defilements, that the mind is free from the agitation of defilements, such kind of people help and support with Metta and Karuna towards people who are endowed with Saddha, faith and confidence. So in this way, the wise person who have calmed the defilements, who do not have the agitation of defilements, they help and they support people who are endowed with Saddha. So people who are endowed with Saddha will be helped and supported, whereas people who are lacking Saddha will not be helped or supported. In this way, people who have Saddha, faith and confidence, will gain the benefit of being supported by the noble ones who have calmed themselves from the agitation of defilement. The person who understands the benefit of Satipatthana practice practices diligently on even the minute activities, bending, stretching, opening and closing of the eyes, blinking, and so on, noting each of these movements and activities without missing, without failing. So there is Sakkaca Kriyata, practicing respectfully, Sataca Kriyata, practicing meticulously, thoroughly, Anathita Kriyata, practicing without stopping, in between. So when the meditation teacher sees such kind of yogi practicing respectfully, meticulously, thoroughly, without stopping, the teacher will give the guidance and instruction to the yogi who practices respectfully, meticulously. And also the meditation teacher will have appropriate excitement for the yogi who practices respectfully, meticulously, thoroughly, having metta, loving kindness, and compassion towards the person who practices respectfully, meticulously, knowing that such kind of yogi will fulfill Viriya, Sati and Samadhi, effort, mindfulness and concentration by practicing thoroughly, and the teacher will give guidance with Metta and Karuna. If the person is not practicing respectfully, meticulously, the person will suffer, not gaining knowledge, not developing the mind and the knowledge. But the yogi who practices respectfully, meticulously, the teacher will have Metta, loving kindness, and Karuna, compassion. In this way there will be Anukampa, appropriate excitement towards the yogi who practices respectfully, meticulously. In this way, the meditation teacher will be able to help more with Metta and Karuna to the yogi who practices respectfully, meticulously, thoroughly. But if the yogi is not practicing properly, if the yogi is not practicing respectfully, meticulously, then the teacher will not be able to give instruction and guidance with Metta and Karuna, because it will be of no use to give guidance and instruction to the person who is lacking faith and confidence. So it is very important that yogi should have faith and confidence in the practice, practicing with faith and confidence, practicing respectfully, meticulously and thoroughly. When a meditation teacher sees a new yogi sitting down, standing up, bending, stretching quickly, then the teacher will not, accept that the yogi is doing so because the yogi is a beginner. But when the teacher has kept on reminding the yogi to do things slowly, mindfully, to do every activity slowly, just like a sick person, being mindful of all these activities, looking down, not looking here and there, concentrating on their practice. If the teacher repeatedly has been reminding the yogi, but still, if the yogi is not acting like a true yogi, not being mindful with his or her daily activities, taking easy in the practice, practicing flippantly, then the teacher will not want to encourage him or her further, as the person does not pay attention to the guidance and instruction, not following the guidance and instruction. But the teacher will give guidance and instruction with Metta and Karuna towards the yogi who practices diligently, being mindful of the activities, sitting down, standing up, bending, stretching, the yogi who practicing with faith and confidence, then seeing such kind of diligent yogi, the teacher will feel more encouraged to give further guidance and instruction with Metta and Karuna. But the kind of person even if they are being told to do things mindfully, even if they are reminded repeatedly by the teacher, but if they are not following the guidance and instruction, then the teacher will not feel encouraged to give him or her further guidance. So it is very important for the yogi to practice respectfully, meticulously, as according to the teaching and guidance of the meditation teacher, so that yogi will continue to receive guidance and instruction from the teacher with metta and karuna. The meditation teacher knows by seeing the yogi whether he or she is practicing respectfully, meticulously or not. The second benefit is that if there is something to be helped, the person will only approach the person endowed with saddha, faith and confidence, to help. So that means that only the person who is endowed with faith and confidence will be approached by others to help. The person who lacks saddha, faith and confidence will not be approached by others, will not be helped by others. The wise person approach the person with saddha to help. So only the people who are endowed with saddha will be approached by the wise to help. The person who is lacking saddha, faith and confidence will not be approached by the wise. Nobody wants to approach a person who lacks saddha. Nobody wants to help the person who lacks saddha. So yogis should be careful of this fact also. And also, if others need important kind of help, they will only approach the person who is endowed with saddha. So people who are in need of help will only approach the person who is endowed with saddha. They will not approach the person who lacks saddha. So in the worldly sense also, in the worldly life, people will only approach the person who is endowed with saddha for help. It will be of no use to approach someone who does not have saddha for help. And also, wise people, parents and teachers, when they want to give guidance and instruction in the Dhamma, they will only do so to the person who has saddha. So these teachers will give guidance only to those who are endowed with saddha, giving them guidance and instruction, what things to be done in order to get benefit. They will guide and instruct to practice respectfully, meticulously, thoroughly in the practice, to make use of the time worthwhile by being mindful. So in this way, a person who lacks saddha will not receive accurate guidance and instruction. The teacher will guide the person once, twice, or 3 times, and if the person does not follow despite the guidance of the teacher, then the teacher will no longer guide the person who is lacking saddha, and thus he or she will lose, not getting any further guidance and instruction. So these 4 benefits are the benefits one can get in this life, present life, by being endowed with saddha. And the last benefit is that the person who is endowed with saddha, faith and confidence, the person endowed with firm saddha through the practice, and when the person is endowed with the saddha of an Ariya, the person will be born in the next life filled with good things, filled with wealth and good situation. So this is the last benefit, that the person who is endowed with saddha will be born in the next existence filled with wealth. Buddha gives an example that is very obvious so that one can understand. Buddha gives the example in a smooth ground. There is a junction, and in the junction there is a big tree where birds from the surroundings come to rest. A person who is endowed with saddha is compared to that tree. Just as the birds from all over come and rest in this shady tree, in the same way, the audience bhikkhu, bhikkhuni, as well as upasaka and upasika come to approach the person who is endowed with saddha, faith and confidence. During the Buddha's time, the disciple of the Buddha, Paṇḍitā and Visakha, who had firm saddha, were approached by the male monks, female monks, as well as other lay devotees, as Paṇḍitā and Visakha were endowed with firm and unshaken faith. Buddha was also approached by human, deity, and Brahmas, seeking for the Dhamma that will uplift their life. So one should awaken saddha, faith and confidence, and one should cultivate the awakened saddha through the practice of Satipatthana meditation, so that one's faith and confidence will become firm and unshaken. So it is the yogi's duty to cultivate the awakened saddha with further Satipatthana practice, so that the yogi's faith and confidence will become firm and unshaken, and the meditation teacher will give further guidance and instruction in the Dhamma. It is the duty of the yogi to know what things should be filled, and yogis should fill in the gaps and rectify the shortcomings, correct the mistakes, so that the yogi's faith and confidence will become firm and unshaken. And this will be all for today.